So when everything's going along and nobody, worries about investigating the sales cycle, not until the sales process comes to a grinding, screeching halt. That's when everybody, starts saying, hey, what's going on here? There hasn't been a sale for 2 or 3 months, and that's when the blame game starts, right? The owner starts talking to the salespeople, or if he's got a sales guy, hey, what's going on? Where's the numbers? I don't see any sales. The sales guy starts talking to the telemarketer, the lead gen people, where are the leads? And, of course, if you've seen Glenn Ross, the lead people are always going to blame the leads, right? Where are the new leads?
Gary leads.
Patel? Patel?
Right.
Another Patel?
Okay.
Yes.
But the truth, if you really get down to it, what really might be gumming up the works could be something more fundamental and actually self-inflicted. So we've got the first slide up here. We're going to go through some of the things that I believe could be fundamentally gumming up the works, and this might be self-inflicted. The biggest impediment to onboarding new clients, to signing up new people, new customers, is you've got a list there of a couple of things, charging remediation fees, setup fees, etc. And so here's the big thing. The conventional wisdom, one of the biggest things I've seen is that when you do a network assessment and discover some major problems that need to be addressed, that you design your agreement with an upfront remediation charge that must be completed before the contract starts, correct? I'm sure if we put a poll up, pretty much everybody would. I think we have one coming up about that. But if you really stop and think about it for a minute, instead of just thinking about what's in it for you immediately, which might be, destroying your ability to actually make that sale, this is really kind of a draconian method. Puts a huge upfront barrier. Could be $20,000, $30,000. Well, I've seen some of these things where people have all these problems that you want to charge that prospect right up front. And this is really an unnecessary barrier to making new sales. It really is going to be an impediment.
I really got to agree with you there, John, is that putting up those huge numbers to begin with just to try to get a project out of the box I've seen that so often is what a barrier to letting your clients get started with you. And even it's resulted in what I've seen is a lot of guys who want to offer a free network assessment. The reaction to that I've seen from the client standpoint now is, why are you going to give me this network assessment so you can walk around and tell me all the things I have to replace and all the money I have to spend to get up to speed to start working with you? And it right off the bat gets things off to a bad start or makes it difficult to get the process rolling. So I just want to plug that in there, that I agree with you fully, that charging these upfront fees is a tremendous roadblock to getting things started.
Absolutely. And we'll bring you in a minute because I think we've talked about this before. There's other issues involved as well. But think about it, going back to what we talked about before. You've got your sales guy there, you've got your lead generation, you paid for all this money, and you've got this great lead, and then suddenly the guy says no. Well, what's at fault? Was it your leads? Was it your sales guy? Was it your model? It was the $30,000 you had to spend up front that you didn't want to do. And I'll give you a quick story to illustrate this because this is a big point. A company in Florida, we were doing the marketing, and we got them a great opportunity with a guy, and he, of course, went in and did the network assessment, and he came up with his remediation fees, which is what most people do. He saw it was a old lagging, they haven't updated their hardware and everything in the software, and so, it was a $25,000 remediation setup fee to get everything started. Well, the problem was when we followed up with the prospect, his other consultant was telling him pretty much that he had to do all those same upgrades for $25,000, or he was going to dump him as a client, right? So he was, really making a draconian, hard, hammer. And so I talked to our prospect and said, look, we want to make the sale. Let's think out, and we'll get into this in a minute. Let's think out of the box. Let's take this guy as a client. What can we do to get this guy on board? And so there's lots of things that you can do, really. What they ended up doing was breaking up those setup fees into each quarter, where you would jump through and do a certain thing right away, and the next quarter do something else, and broke it up in like that, so he wasn't facing $30,000 right off the bat. And of course, eventually he signed off on that.